Well, statistics say that 1 in 6 children in the United States may be struggling every day with access to food. And one of the great organizations trying to combat that statistic is Blessings in a Backpack. Joining us now from the West Bloomfield Keego Harbor chapter of Blessings in a Backpack is Kathy Sheiko. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
So, Kathy, for those who aren't familiar with Blessings in a Backpack, can you talk about exactly what the mission of Blessings in a Backpack is?
Blessings in the Backpack's goal or mission is to send 6 non-perishable meals home with students every weekend of the school year. Many of the students come to school, they get free lunch, they get free breakfast, and then when they go home on the weekends, there isn't any food. So the program was started in 2005 by a teacher in Louisville, Kentucky, when she saw her students coming back to school on Monday, cranky and out of sorts, and she tied it in with the fact that they had not had enough to eat on the weekend. So it's a program that is mission is to feed hungry children.
And it has such a great name, alliterative name, Blessings in a Backpack. Could you talk about a little bit what the significance of the backpack in the name of the organization is?
Well, the food goes home in the student's backpack. We pack it once a week, and it's delivered to the classrooms. The teachers help the students get it into their backpacks, and thus they go home and they take their food home in backpack.
You know, I think a lot of people might not think that this area has children who might have difficulty getting 3 square meals a day, but that's not necessarily the case, is it?
No, it's not. As I've said more than once to many people that have asked me that very same question, that your neighbor right next door might be having issues with finances and you have no idea that they don't have enough food to feed their children.
Now, typically, how is Blessings in a Backpack usually funded? Is it mostly done through donations, or how does it work exactly?
It is done totally on donations. We do have a trivia night coming up November 4th. It's our one major fundraiser for the school year where we take sponsorships and certainly any kind of monetary donation. And that money is used to buy food at a discount from Meyer. And that's how we are able to fund or buy the food with donations. This whole program is run strictly by volunteers. There's no one that's taking any money anywhere except for Meyer, of course, for the food that we pay. Um, and so everything that we get donated is used to buy uh, provisions for our weekly packing.
Now, I'd imagine, I remember being young, it seemed like everything that was different from the norm when I was in school would kind of like lead to embarrassment or something like that. Are there ever situations where kids are kind of maybe embarrassed to ask for help, or their families are embarrassed to ask for help? How do you reach out to folks who you know need some help but might be hesitant to ask for it?
There is no question that that stigma is there, especially for our high school and middle school kids who we would love to have more of them in the program. We started several years ago, we started actually delivering to our high school kids. We have volunteers that will take them, just drop the bag at the house. They don't interact. They don't have to, no one has to be there. But because our high school kids were not picking up the food, we decided that we would try that. And that has worked well, but we still have a lot of students that we could be servicing that were not. At the elementary level, it's not so prevalent, but we have wonderful teachers that actually take the bags that when we send them and put them in the students' lockers or actually right into their backpacks so that no one needs to be the wiser. And for families, we count on our secretaries and our principals and certainly our classroom teachers to reach out to those parents who won't fill out the form so that we have permission to send the food home. And so we get more participants that way also.
So another way that you're going to be able to try to raise some funds, there's the upcoming trivia night that's coming up on Friday, November 4th. Could you talk a little bit about that evening?
It's great fun. We've done it. I think this is going to be our 5th time. So this time it's a sitcom theme. But you come, you have dinner, and then we play 6 rounds of trivia, and we have raffles, of course, and all the proceeds go to Blessings in a Backpack.
So yeah, I saw your flyer there. It had some nice caricatures of some classic sitcoms like Seinfeld. Was that someone at your organization in West Bloomfield that made those pick photos up?
We have a wonderful, wonderful graphic designer who actually used to do PR for the school district, Pam Zajac, that helps us make our flyers and our sponsorship form. So that's her creativity. I'd like to tell you it's mine, but totally hers. And our theme
um,
again this year is sitcoms. So all of the questions will be related to one of the sitcoms that in past years that were so popular on TV.
and do you know rough how much do people have to pay in order to do it?
It's $35, and all of the proceeds, except of course what we have to pay for the dinner, goes directly to Blessings in a Backpack.
So it's hard to believe that we're less than like 3 months from Christmas time. Do you guys have any other kind of fundraising events going on around the holidays?
No, this is we are very fortunate in West Bloomfield. People are very generous. And not just West Bloomfield, all of our families and friends that we convince to donate to Blessings. And it's really not hard to convince people to donate to an organization that feeds hungry children. So this one fundraiser really funds us for the entire school year. We have to raise about $40,000, depending on the number of students we have enrolled each school year, so that we can make sure that we have the funds to purchase food each month for the entire school year.
What kind of feedback do you get from families who are benefiting from this program? Guess they're very grateful to have this offering, especially with the economy the way it is now and inflation and prices at the grocery store are just kind of crazy.
We have parents that drop us notes and tell us how grateful they are, especially at this time of year when they are enrolling again for the school year, how much they are appreciative of the extra food for their children. And I'll tell you, this is my favorite story, so I'll just be real
Mhm.
quick about it. But when we first started doing Blessings, um, a teacher was doing a lesson in school in her classroom, and it was the whole notion of it was, I used to think and now I know. And so a little boy
Mhm.
said, I used to think the spiders were insects, and now they know they're arachnids. And this one, these are second graders. And this one little second grade girl said, I used to think I'd go home on the weekends and be hungry, but now I know that there's a bag of food in my locker on Fridays. So those kinds of things out of the mouths of babes is what keeps us going and keeping this organization alive.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, I'll give you something real here. I've got food waiting for me, and I didn't think so before. Yeah, that is a great
Forget
story.
about the spider.
Exactly, yeah. So, Kathy, before we let you go, could you just remind everyone once again when and where the trivia night's going to be held?
Trivia night is going to be Friday, November 4th at St. George Cultural Center on Woodward Avenue, just north of Square Lake Road. You can go to blessingsinAbackpackmi.org to register by going to events and look for the trivia night for West Bloomfield Keiko Harbor. You can also go there just to donate if you don't care to come to trivia night.
And if folks want to volunteer to help you out, how can they get in touch?
They can call 248-521-0074.
Kathy, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, and thank you and your team for all the great work that you do.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.